Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your #1 source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Taking a look at what we're following for today. Another fairly hot day today, and of course the latest with Hurricane Lee. I'll show you how far off the coast of the United States it's likely to go.
Today marks 22 years since the terrorist attacks on 9/11. This is a live look at the 9/11 Memorial at Ground Zero in New York City. Straight ahead, how you can honor the victims today by giving back to your community here in the Triangle.
And search and rescue efforts continue in Morocco this morning after Friday's devastating earthquake. We'll hear from our local Moroccan community about how they're dealing with the tragedy. The number of people dead in that tragedy just staggering, more than 2,100. We have a lot of big stories that we're following for you on this Monday. Thanks for joining us. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Jeff Hogan. Hope you had a great weekend. And thanks for making us part of your Monday here as we get things started. Rain has kind of kicked out from the weekend. It was wet in some spots. And Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center right now. That dense fog advisory to our west, huh?
Yeah, some of that lingering moisture is creating some low cloud cover and fog, mainly for the Triad area, but it does include Chatham County. So Siler City and Pittsburgh, you're in that dense fog advisory this morning. Visibility could be dropping down to around a quarter of a mile. Our closest camera there is Chapel Hill, and it's a little bit hard to tell, but there is a lot of moisture in the atmosphere and some low cloud cover that has developed there. A half-mile visibility in South Hill. That's as worse. It's the worst that we have on the map, at least right now. But again, as the sun comes up, you'll be able to see that low cloud cover, and you could run into some patchy fog in some low-lying areas. Futurecast shows a little bit of sunshine once that low cloud cover burns off, and partly cloudy skies this afternoon. Our southern counties could see an isolated shower, but it would be truly isolated. It's a 20% chance today, just to kind of cover the bases. We take a live look at downtown Durham, 68 degrees, our dew point 67. So it doesn't feel too bad out there. It's 70 in Fayetteville, 71 in Rocky Mount, but otherwise looking at a lot of 60, 65 right now in Southern Pines. Hour by hour, we're going to climb into the upper 80s for this afternoon. And of course, we take a look at Hurricane Lee. Well, what's new this morning is the wind speeds are increasing. It could develop into a Cat 4 just briefly today. No major shifts in the forecast track. It is likely to weaken as it heads north up closer to the United States. It is moving northwest at 7 with 120 mile per hour winds. It's likely to start to weaken by Wednesday and move past Bermuda as a Category 2. For us in North Carolina, we're looking at rip current danger as well as some beach erosion from that as we get into, say, Friday and the weekend. We'll talk about some of those specific impacts coming up, Brian.
It is just about 6:02 right now, and I just checked with Raleigh 911. At the moment, we have no incidents in Wake County causing any problems. You're looking good on all of our major routes right now in Wake County, and in Durham and Chapel Hill also quiet. 15501 looking good right now as you head between Durham and Chapel Hill. I want to take you out to that live camera in Knightdale at 87 at Smithfield Road. That southbound side all clear from 64 Business to 440. No delay showing up right now on those live sensors.
Brian, thank you. Today marks 22 years since the attacks on 9/11. This is a live look at the 9/11 Memorial Park in New York City. Memorial services will happen there today in Washington, D.C. and in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Nearly 3,000 people lost their lives during the attacks in 2001. President Joe Biden will attend a ceremony on a military base in Anchorage today. Governor Roy Cooper has ordered all state flags to be lowered to half-staff. Fort Liberty invites the public to commemorate the day with the 9/11 Remembrance Ceremony that will be at the Eternal Flame at the Fort Liberty Main Parade Field beginning at 8:30 this morning. The North Carolina National Guard will hold a memorial ceremony at the Joint Force Headquarters in Raleigh. That's at 8:45 a.m. on Gold Star Drive. Governor Roy Cooper will be speaking at that event. And we've learned Attorney General Josh Stein will not be there because he tested positive for COVID-19. The city of Rocky Mount will hold its annual ceremony at 10 a.m. That will be at the flagpoles outside the municipal building on South Franklin Street. Organizations in the Triangle will participate in a day of service to honor those who lost their lives during the 9/11 attacks. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey joins us now to tell us about a local nonprofit that you can volunteer with today to show your support. Kelsey, good morning.
Renee, good morning. The nonprofit Activate Good is partnering with community groups across the Triangle for service projects today. Volunteers will be headed here to the Green Community Center in a few hours for a cleanup project. And Meals on Wheels, the Ronald McDonald House, and the Special Olympics are just a few of the organizations that Activate Good is partnering with today. Service projects will vary depending on where you volunteer. Some activities include making blankets for Wake Med patients and packing kits for students in need, all with the intent to bring joy on a day that brings pain to so many.
It's an opportunity for you and your kids and your family to reflect on what we have in our community and how we can really come together to learn and serve.
And there's still a chance for you to sign up. They have 2 volunteer shifts today, a morning shift and an evening shift. The morning shift starts between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. and the evening shift starts at 6 p.m. If you want more information, you can go to Activate Good's website. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
WRAL has a list of ways you can honor and remember those who lost their lives on this tragic day 22 years ago, a day we will never forget. Visit our website or the WRAL News app.
We're working to learn more this morning about a crash that caused lane closures on US 70 in Garner. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker was on that scene last night as crews investigated. This is at Auburn-Knightdale Road at the intersection there. We know at least 2 vehicles were damaged. So far, no word yet on what led to that crash or if anyone was hurt. We're learning more about the horrible crash that killed the owner of a popular UNC apparel store and his son last week. That store is Classic Carolina on Franklin Street in Chapel Hill. It's been closed the last few days. Video yesterday shows a memorial at the front door. Dhruva Chelani owned that store. One of his daughters, Crystal Chelani, shared more pictures of the family. And in this one, her brother Chris is in the middle, and to the left of him, his father. Crystal says a driver was speeding down Mount Pisgah Church Road in Apex, crossed the center line and hit the Chelani's vehicle head on. Wife and mother Nina was also in the car and injured Wednesday night. She required surgery. Chris was a popular TikTok influencer and was poised to take over the family-owned company. The entire family was well known and loved, especially in the Chapel Hill area. A GoFundMe site established for the family has raised more than $55,000 to this point.
This morning, the driver of the truck that hit and killed an 11-year-old girl during the Raleigh Christmas parade will be in court for his arraignment. Landon Glass faces misdemeanor charges of death by motor vehicle, reckless driving to endanger, and carrying a firearm at the parade. There's also failure to reduce speed and improper brakes. Glass was driving a pickup truck last November in the Raleigh Christmas parade when it lost control and hit 11-year-old Haley Brooks.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, reports are saying the North Korean train possibly carrying North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has departed for Russia. This all for a possible meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Neither side has confirmed this, but a Kim-Putin meeting is possible as early as tomorrow. U.S. officials did say last week that North Korea and Russia were arranging a meeting. Russia and North Korea have been drawing closer to each other since Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The U.S. has been accusing North Korea of providing Russia with weapons.
Michelle, thanks. Tonight, you can give Fayetteville City Council your thoughts about a proposed youth curfew. That curfew would apply to anyone under 18. It would go into effect at midnight on weeknights and 1 a.m. on weekends. It would be lifted at 5 each morning. Some council members say this would be a good step toward reducing gun violence in Fayetteville. Others say they need more data to prove the curfew would work. Tonight's City Council meeting is at 7 tonight at City Hall. We're following breaking news this morning. Hawaii's Kilauea volcano is erupting for a 3rd time this year. This is a live look right now. These new images show lava spewing into the air. Geologists say the eruption is at the summit crater. Authorities say right now the eruption does not present an immediate danger. However, they've raised the alert level to red for any potential hazards. Kilauea last erupted in June.
It has been super active. Dallas Cowboys start their season off in the right way. This was a game last night, Sunday Night Football. It ended late. Maybe you didn't see it. They just dominated the New York Giants on a rain-soaked field. The defense, pretty stiff. gave the Giants no answers on their home field. Dallas pulled out a 40-0 Week 1 win of the season.
Our news continues with new video into a newsroom after Friday's powerful earthquake in Morocco. A local organization with ties to Morocco details what's most needed right now.
And budget cuts have forced a rape crisis center in the Triangle to scale back on services. Coming up, how one person is raising money to keep that center up and running.
And a couple of warm days to start the week, 91 Tuesday, but I'll show you the cold front that'll bring a real fall feel for the rest of the week coming up.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
It is 6:12. Take a live look at Sanford, and you can see mostly clear skies here in Sanford. We're just beginning to see a little bit of daylight there on the horizon, but in some places we're dealing with low cloud cover and even some patchy fog. We have a dense fog advisory in effect for Chatham County and then westward back over toward the Triads. If you're going to be driving in that direction, keep that in mind. Also seeing some lower visibility in South Hill at around a half a mile. Earlier it was down to a quarter of a mile, so there could be some patchy fog in some spots. Our temperatures this morning are ranging from upper 60s to low 70s, so it feels pretty pleasant, especially if you're going to be headed out for some exercise. It's still a little bit on the sticky side right now, and we'll see a high of 88 and a slim chance of a shower or thunderstorm in our southern counties. A front comes through Wednesday, bringing us some delightful temperatures later in the week. Brian?
6:13 right now as we take a look at traffic around the Triangle. Looking good on all of our major approaches into Durham at the moment. Live sensors indicating no trouble on 40 westbound coming in from Raleigh and out of the north part of Durham. Southbound on 501 looks good from Infinity Road down toward the I-85 interchange. Around the rest of the Triangle, still looking fine on major routes, getting a little congested perhaps on 440 westbound right around the Wade Avenue interchange. And taking a live look at traffic in Cumberland County and Fayetteville, I-95 and 295 both looking good. Jeff?
Brian, thanks. We are checking into a deadly shooting that happened in the Bull City, where police have identified the victim as 23-year-old Romero Bent of Durham. It happened on Hunt Street shortly after midnight on Sunday. Police say responders rushed Bent to the hospital where he died from his injuries. Police believe this is an isolated incident. There are no arrests so far. NC State Police sent out a crime alert after a vehicle theft. The crime happened in the Sullivan lots. Police say a gray 2023 Toyota Tacoma pickup truck was parked in that lot. It had been there overnight and someone stole it. The truck has a Florida license plate. There's no suspect description. Anyone with information should call University Police.
Ukraine in the Carolinas, an organization working to assist people in Ukraine and build a community for Ukrainians in the Triangle, came together for the opening of a new school and cultural center in Raleigh. The school and cultural center are on the campus of Ridge Road Baptist Church. Its goal is to serve as a community hub for refugees in the Triangle and also as a place to teach children and adults the Ukrainian language and culture. For more information, head to ukrainiansinthecarolinas.org.
Rescuers continue their desperate search this morning for survivors of Friday's powerful earthquake in Morocco. WRAL's Ken Smith is here now with how local North Carolina Moroccan American groups are especially concerned about this morning, Ken.
And Jeff, as you might imagine, it's been a worrisome weekend for Triangle residents with family and friends in Morocco. Take a look at new video from the devastated regions of that country. The death toll now tops more than 2,200. The next day or two will be critical for any hope of finding survivors. We spoke with Mohammed Nashi with the North Carolina Moroccan American group here in the Triangle. He says so many families lost loved ones and everything they owned.
They need a shelter, they need food, they need clothes, they need basic medications. All the necessary stuff, the basic stuff, are still needed.
Naji's group is working on organizing funds and relief efforts. We'll keep you posted on how you can help. And coming up next on Today at 7, after our morning news, a live report from Marrakesh on the search and rescue resources coming in from around the world. Renee.
Budget cuts force the Orange County Rape Crisis Center to scale back on some services, including cutting half of its staff. One man is raising funds to recover what the center lost. Over the last 3 years, government contracts have decreased by $400,000, leaving survivors with fewer services. This inspired Julian Jacobs to start fundraising for the Rape Crisis Center. He will travel across the country for 21 days with just a penny in his pocket. It's called the Penny Exchange. On his route, he will work small jobs to turn a penny into a cross-country trip while speaking to communities about the impact of sexual violence and raising funds.
I just want to help out a great organization. My friend Ray, she works at the Orange County Rape Crisis Center, and she told me about some of the cuts. And it just felt like something that I can kind of try out, see if they were interested in, and if they weren't, a great way to raise money.
You can follow Julian's journey from North Carolina to California on Instagram and TikTok, as well as on our website, WRAL.com.
A lot of folks saw a lot of electricity in the air over the weekend. The NC State Notre Dame football game in Raleigh, Carter Finley Stadium lit up. Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. That rain and lightning that has moved out now as we start a new week. That
was a big talker. So many people, at the state game and at the Carolina game having to deal with that rain and the hopscotch too. There was so much going on over the weekend. Sunday was a little bit drier, of course, and today will be drier still until our next front comes through late Tuesday night. Here's a live look at Goldsboro, looking nice and clear there. Checking out Apex and Chapel Hill. Chapel Hill looks like it's still a little bit hard to tell, but it looks like in Chapel Hill there may be some low cloud cover. We've seen some of that, especially in our western counties where we have a dense fog advisory in effect right now for Chatham County. New this morning with Hurricane Lee, wind speeds are increasing. The storm is likely to become Category 4 again later on today, just for a short period of time. No major track shifts. That's great, and it's been pretty incredible. This has been a storm that we've been watching for a long time, and the forecast path has been steady. The computer models have been in agreement for days and days, which is a bit unusual, but it gives us a lot of confidence in the forecast. Weakening is expected as it moves up past North Carolina and moves into some cooler water. It's moving northwest at 7 right now with winds at 120, making it a Cat 3, likely to be Cat 4 later today and tomorrow, and then it makes that turn and starts moving a lot faster, zipping past Bermuda, but as a Category 2, which means that there's likely to be some significant damage in Bermuda, but it'll be several hundred miles off the coast of North Carolina. So we're looking at rip current danger and some heavy surf, some beach erosion, that sort of thing. Here's a look at why the storm isn't likely to make landfall in North Carolina. We're going to see a big trough developing. That trough is going to deliver some really pleasant air for us, but it's going to sit here and it's not going to allow Lee to make landfall near North Carolina. However, the Bermuda high may steer it up toward Maine and some of the maritime provinces of Canada. There could be a landfall there. Take a look at our wave heights as this moves forward. It's also a great way to sort of track the storm and to see how big it is too. So our wave heights offshore could be up to 15 feet, but along the Outer Banks, it's likely to be, say, maybe 4 to 6 feet. And then, of course, you can see just how close the center of circulation gets to Bermuda, which is right there. And then it looks like it could make landfall here in eastern Maine or potentially Nova Scotia, and possibly as a Category 1 hurricane. Here's a look at the computer model plots again. You can see that landfall there, potentially close to Maine. We'll see, of course, that rip current danger increasing over the next few days along the coast of North Carolina. The 5 a.m. advisory for Tropical Storm Margot moving north at 8 miles per hour. It has 65 mile per hour winds. It's likely to become a hurricane, but just stay out to sea and not have any big impacts anywhere. We have a front that's still sitting over us, but it's weakening and it's not likely to bring us any real rain, but not much rain for today. And then here comes the front Tuesday night. That's when we'll likely have the best chance of rain for most of us. Wednesday evening, a little bit closer to the coast. Of course, you can see Lee way offshore as we get into Thursday and Friday, but our best chance for rain is going to be Wednesday at 30%. And behind that, check this out. We're going to see 81 on Thursday, 82 Saturday, but the overnight lows will be in the 50s, and that is a sure sign that we're also going to lose our humidity too, Brian. So this is going to be our first good taste of fall.
It's right around the corner.
Yeah.
It's about time. 6:20 as we take a look at traffic this morning. No crashes reported anywhere in Wake County right now. There's a report of a road hazard at the intersection of Lake Wheeler Road at Hilltop Needmore Road. Trying to find out exactly what's going on there. I am seeing a little bit of a delay showing up on the sensors heading through that intersection down in the Fuquay area. Over in Durham and Chapel Hill, traffic's moving along nicely. We are watching those major approaches into RDU this morning, including I-40. This is the camera out at 540. Headlights are westbound, the eastbound traffic heading away from us toward the airport there, and we're looking good on all of those major approaches, including 540 westbound from Capitol to RDU, just a 1-minute delay, and out of Chapel Hill and South Durham, looking good right now heading out to the airport interchanges.
Brian, thanks. Novak Djokovic claims a historic 24th major championship at the Men's U.S. Open. Coming up, his tribute to basketball legend Kobe Bryant after his win.
And here's a look at your winning lottery numbers on your screen right now.
This What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug & Home.
Chris Evans is officially off the market.
And Brian Schrader is officially here with What's Trending on our Monday morning, Brian.
Yes, the Captain America star married Alba Baptista over the weekend. The couple had a small ceremony at their home in Massachusetts. This is not video from the ceremony that you're seeing.
Pretty cool ceremony, though.
I know, that'd be quite a ticket right there. But the guest list included some of the actor's Marvel co-stars, including Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth, and Jeremy Renner.
So Chris is 42, Alba is 26. They've been dating for a little more than a year. Alba is an actress as well. She's pretty popular in Europe, and she can speak 5 languages, but the two seem pretty happy together.
It closer resembled my wedding ceremony. Right?
The shield and the helicopters. Bryce Young introduced himself to the NFL with his first touchdown pass, but Hayden Hurst didn't seem to want to keep it as a keepsake there. Take a look here. Hurst threw the ball into the stands after the touchdown. And after the game, Hurst said fans threw it back and the ball is in safe hands.
And Bryce is like, what did you do? You just threw away my first NFL touchdown pass. I noticed that when he threw the interception, he didn't want that ball. But it was kind of a rough first go for Bryce Young yesterday. Many weeks ahead, though. Brian, thank you. Novak Djokovic claimed his 24th Grand Slam title last night in the Men's U.S. Open final. Immediately after winning, the tennis star honored the memory of late NBA legend Kobe Bryant. They were friends. He put on a shirt featuring a picture of Bryant and him and the words Mamba Forever. 24 on the back, too. Djokovic was friends with Bryant, died along with that of his daughter there, Gianna, in a 2020 helicopter crash. 24, the jersey number Kobe wore when he played for the Lakers.
Because of the rain that we saw over the weekend, we have enough moisture for some fog in places. Dense fog advisory in effect for Chatham County. I'll show you what it looks like for your morning commute coming up.
Bringing light to a dark day in American history. Service projects are underway across the Triangle in honor of 9/11. Just ahead, how you can give back to your community. And we're live at City Hall in Durham this morning, where waste management workers are going on strike yet again, entering this week where trash is piling up. I'll explain the demands they're fighting for.